Hi everyone, welcome to Vedic Astrology Study Podcast. Through this medium, I cover a breadth of some basic principles and analysis of the beautiful ancient science of Jyotish, gifted to humanity by wise ancient seers of India. Typically, there are playlists of different kinds with case studies to have a practical grounding of those principles. In this series, which will become a part of the Panchanga playlist, I am covering the science of Muhurta, or the timing of events, activities, dietary control, tuning your attitude to any given day of the month, since this is a lunar calendar. As per Vedic astrology, the human being should regulate their daily activities in alignment with the lunar cycle and the corresponding tithi of the day. You might say this is the beginning of the use of science of Jyotish consciously, with awareness and in full view of self and this space-time reality we find ourselves in. Since this deals with your everyday cycle of energies that each of us deals with on a daily basis, it's a good beginning point to start Jyotish with Panchanga study first, before you get to the charts part. If you do not know what your current tithi is, where you are on the planet, you can download the Jyotish app, which is indicated on the slide with its logo on Android or iPhone store. Download it, set its location to wherever you are on the planet. Then click on Muhurta and Panchanga part as is shown on the slide, and it will tell you the current Panchanga aspects, the Tithi, the Vara, the Karana, Yoga and Nakshatra, which is typically where moon is transiting over. Then use these series as a study material to guide your daily activities, diet, attitude for any given day. The way I shall cover each tithi here begins with the element and deity, followed by the energy of the day, what to do, what to avoid, suggested mindset, elementary, dietary consideration, and the content is covered both for Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha tithis. For the basics of this, see the previous tithi videos in this playlist. Let's get started. Now let us discuss the Panchami Tithi. This is the first of the Purna Tithi, meaning full. It carries the full positive, nourishing energy about it. Since now we are doing in this playlist everything to do with something called as electional astrology, meaning the science of timing your events, timing your diet, timing your attitude for the day in a lunar month, which has 15 days of waxing, 15 days of waning, and want this balance of energy between the sun and the moon, the two dominant luminaries in our astrological systems that play out as the balance of energies. You might even say it is the distance between the soul and the mind, and what it provides us as something to be used, something to be understood first, and then used, obviously. Okay, so electional astrology is another name given to this kind of a science. Let us get into Panchami. What is the general energetic quality of Panchami? It's a Purna Tithi, meaning full. It carries the full positive, nourishing energy about it. The ruling element here being Vayu, or air element, in the scheme of Tithi categories, which gives a sense of movement and expansion without being unstable. The moon, or Chandra, is said to be the ruler of Panchami Tithi. Interestingly, on a mythological level, Goddess Saraswati, goddess of learning, and Nagas, serpent deities, were born on a Panchami. Therefore, think Saraswati, think knowledge, think music, think continuous quest of knowledge of people born in Panchami. I've covered this in the personality aspect of people born on Tithis. You can look that up. As well as Nagas, the serpent deity, the Kundalini, the mystical, were born on Panchami. This imbues Panchami with the qualities of wisdom, continuous learning through life, and also a connection to nature and healing. Snakes are often symbolized as Kundalini energy from the Vedic tradition, and also healing out of the poison. Something like homeopathy. Homeopathy has a lot of poisons which are used for healing purposes when diluted. You can look up homeopathy stuff for that. The vibe of Panchami is nurturing, educational and curative. It is considered an auspicious tithi for many activities, with a couple of specific cautions. It is neither as initiating as Dvitiya, nor as celebrated as Dashami. These are the other ones, okay? Dashami is also a Purna Tithi, but we'll get to that. A flowing, supportive day, whenever Panchami occurs, the fifth day after the new moon or full moon is Panchami. For growth and knowledge, recommended activities being medical and healing services. Since we have the symbology of the snake, even the modern medical science has the caduceus, isn't it? The two snakes and a sword. Everywhere it is there, folks. You have to just look this up. Panchami is explicitly considered auspicious for medicine and healing. Classical sources state it's a good day for administering medicine, treating illnesses, removing poison, and even performing surgeries. If you need to start a medical treatment or detox regime, Panchami's energy supports effective healing. For example, in Ayurveda, some Panchami days are chosen for taking specific therapeutic purgatives or antidotes because of this energy. It's also a favorable day to consult doctors or Vaidyas, as they are called in Vedic tradition, for health issues. Education and learning. With Saraswati's influence, this Tithi is wonderful for any learning related endeavors. Panchami born people are continuously learners, lifelong learners. Begin a new course of study, enroll in a class, or have children commence lessons of some kind. Basant Panchami or Magha Shukla 5th is a special day to start education and do Saraswati Puja. It's done in Vedic tradition. You see, Vedic tradition is a way of life. It is not one thing or the other. It is all things combined. It's also great for teachers to teach important lessons. Suppose difficult lessons are there. Some teachers, professors perhaps listening to this, take up Panchami day to do this. There's this hint for you. Studying scriptures, mantras, or attending workshops can be fruitful on this day. Meditation will be fruitful on this day because there's the Kundalini energy and Saraswati energy. You might say Kundalini translated into knowledge, Saraswati. Creative and intellectual work. That's another thing good on this day. Writing, composing music, drawing, or other forms of arts are supported on Panchami. The goddess of arts, Saraswati, lends inspiration. Also, jobs requiring intellectual capacity like research or planning can go well on this day. Business and new ventures. Panchami is generally considered fine for starting a business or any venture. It's a Purna Tithi, so it gives full result. In fact, it's listed as a favorable for commencing business activities. If you launch something on Panchami, your app or business, it is thought to grow steadily. It's a Purna Tithi, good one for that. Marriage and social events. Panchami is considered auspicious for weddings and social ceremonies, provided other chart factors agree. Nurturing aspect bodes well for familial harmony. Some regions avoid Panchami weddings if they believe specific doshas. This is another thing altogether. Let's not get into that right now. Agriculture and nature related work. Given the connection between Nagas and nature, Panchami is a good day for planting, gardening, work involving land and water. Naga Panchami, Shramana Shukla 5th, is the day when snakes, by extension of earth's fertility, are revered in the Vedic tradition. People avoid digging the earth and instead feed milk or sweets to the cobras and images of them. As such, it's a nice day to honor nature, plant a tree, water your garden, or take a nature walk. Activities to avoid. One specific avoidance mentioned in the text: do not lend money on a Panchami day. Fifth day in the lunar calendar from full moon or from new moon. It is said that one may incur loss if they lend money on this day. So be cautious of that. Put it off for the next day, whatever checks you are giving. So avoid giving out loans, making big lending transactions on a Panchami. Additionally, because of the snake association, avoid unnecessarily disturbing earth or snake habitats. Leave them alone. Haven't we done enough to the nature, Traditionally, people refrain from plowing fields and digging ground on a Naga Panchami to prevent harm to snakes. See, the ancients were wise in all of this. They were aligned with the earth in everything they were doing. Not just the selfish kind of approach we have in modern, everything is I, me, myself, right? Back to this one. It's also wise to avoid unnecessary conflicts and haggling. Panchami's energy is more about giving and learning. So combative acts like conflicts or haggling can be postponed. Be cautious with financial speculations. While start of a business is fine, speculative risk taking could be less fruitful. There's a distinction there. Keep an eye on over expansion. Don't be too optimistic. We are still in the fifth one. But aside from the money lending taboo, Panchami is not considered inauspicious for most other things. So just exercise some care. Suggested mindset now. Knowledge seeking and nurturing. Good day for knowledge. Saraswati is there. Embrace a curious learning attitude on a Panchami day. As Saraswati is connected, approach tasks with wisdom and creativity. Both are Saraswati. Wisdom with creativity is Saraswati. Even for musicians, it's a great day for artists who are into music because Saraswati is the goddess of music. It's a great day to be a student of life. Remain humble and open to new information. If you're dealing with conflict, use knowledge, communication, and ask Goddess for showing you the way. Don't ask your mind. It's full of most of the garbage inherited from the civilization. Just ask the Goddess. Show gratitude and respect for nature and tradition, for example. A devotional mindset is appropriate. Also, you may perform your pujas and rites, especially towards Goddess Saraswati, something very less done even in India. Everybody runs after Lakshmi and wealth. Saraswati is ignored. Well, you need wealth, you need creativity, that's what gives you joy. So look at that part. Knowledge. Also practice generosity and trust. Purna Tithis encourage sharing. All the Purna Tithis, we shall see more of this. Perhaps teach someone something new. Help someone in need of guidance, not necessarily wealth. However, temper generosity and wisdom. Remember not to lend money. Mindfulness is the key, since Panchami can involve dealing with poisons, literal or metaphorical. Maintain clarity and calm. If you encounter negativity, think of it as poison to be carefully handled rather than go with an aggressive posturing. Respond with knowledge rather than panic or anger. This mental posture makes most of Panchami's healing potential. Diet, considering Ayurveda. Panchami is considered an excellent day for detoxification, the removal of poison of snakes, and balancing. If you have accumulated poisons or toxins in the body, you might address them today, taking the advice of Ayurvedic practitioners to administer right type of anti-toxic therapies or blood purification herbs. You can support this day by eating a diet that is light and cleansing. Emphasize bitter and astringent flavors which remove toxins. Leafy vegetables like spinach, fenugreek, bitter gourd, neem or karela. Karela means bitter gourd. In small quantities with turmeric. These are natural antidotes in the body. If you have known imbalance like pitta issues, vata, pitta, kapha are three energies that Ayurveda deals with, you can look that up. Consider a mild khichdi. One of my favorite dishes. It's rice and lentils cooked together is khichdi for a day. Simple moong dal khichdi, rice porridge and spices can be easy on digestion and cleansing. There's a lady I know of who's been eating khichdi systematically every single night for the last 30 years as dinner, and she has no health issues. Imagine that. Drink plenty of water, perhaps herbal teas. A traditional sip of milk with a bit of turmeric placed as prasad or offering to the goddess or to the snake images, Nagas, symbolically to immunize against poison. You can even use Lord Shiva because there is a snake wrapped around his neck, isn't it? So you can use Linga or Lord Shiva also for this offering. Turmeric milk can be indeed healing day for you today. Foods to avoid. Avoid cutting or frying foods on Naga Panchami, especially which comes in August in the Shravana month. Even if not following that strictly, try to avoid fried foods, oily foods. Don't bring Saturn here, heavy meats. Avoid Saturnian or Mars related kind of energy. They can introduce tamasic heaviness or impurities. Also avoid any known allergens or intoxicants if you want your system clean. Many in the Vedic tradition avoid non-vegetarian food, especially on Panchami, especially Naga Panchami. In fact, entire month of Shravana, people avoid non-veg as a day of reverence for all life forms. Sticking to vegetarian diet, no eggs, meat and so on. Panchami is said to be good for removing poison. That's the essence there. In a practical sense, ensure you eat fresh foods, no spoiled or questionable items, and may incorporate detoxifying agents like a bit of Triphala Churna at night. It's one of the preparations of Ayurveda, which detoxifies the gut. A glass of warm lemon water perhaps in the morning to flush the system. If you've been meaning to do a cleanse or begin a healthier diet, this is a good day for that. If you're in a good health and not detoxifying, just focus on balanced meals that nourish the brain function for higher learning, like almonds, ghee, whole grains and so on. Overall approach to eating should be as a ritual of nourishment and cleansing, not indulgence. By feeding your body the right things on a Panchami day, you get a lot of things done. Now let's see the Shukla and Krishna parts of this Tithi. So what is it that we would do on the 5th day on a Shukla Panchami? It's highlighted there on the pie chart. Remember, this is a Purna Tithi, the first of them. The others being the 10th, Dashami and 15th on Purnima or even the new moon. Okay, even Amavasya is a Purna Tithi in some way in the internal process. We shall see this later. Back to element and deity, it's air, so everything to do with mental energy plus moon. So imagine the combination. The moon is very watery, air is a mental energy. Saraswati and Nagas are the deities. Energy of the day is gentle, nourishing and filled with lunar wisdom, the heart wisdom. Air element gives movement to knowledge and creativity. That's how they both play out. Healing, music, learning and nurturing thrive in this energy. What to do as auspiciousness, you might say. Auspicious or not auspicious is generally quite a relative thing, isn't it? What you consider auspicious may be releasing work also, but on this day begin studies, teaching or artistic pursuits. Take medicine, start the healing therapies. Good for this day. Offer worship to Saraswati or Nagas for wisdom and protection. Light creative work like writing, music and intellectual discussions are good for this day. If you want to plan a project meeting, do it on this day where you need to discuss and thrash out ideas. What to avoid: lending money or initiating financial debt or taking loans on this day. Bad stuff, avoid it. Money related stuff, avoid. Risky business deals or unstable ventures, don't do that. Idle gossip or wasting intellectual energy, never a good idea. Remember, this is the lower form of Mercury. Mercury is intellect, your capacity of logic, discernment. But if you're using it in idle gossip, talking bad about others or anything, you're wasting it, or wasting your Mercury, or you're downgrading your mercurial capacity, you might say. This applies generally to astrology. Suggested mindset is of curiosity, receptivity and compassion. Approach the day with openness to learning and teaching. Nurturing others through knowledge and kindness, something which is missing in this day. Knowledge has become a form of harshness in the civilization. We need to change that. Diet, supporting and what to avoid. Favor sattvic, nourishing meals. This is true for all tithis. This is why the Vedic tradition is dominantly vegetarian. Fresh fruits, milk, ghee and leafy vegetables are good on this day. Light grains and easy to digest foods keep the mind clear of clutter. Avoid intoxicants, never a good idea on any day. Or stale foods, keeping too much stuff in the fridge and reheating it with microwave. Not a good idea. Overeating is also not a good idea since you are seeking knowledge. If your belly is too full, your mind is too dull, isn't it? Now let's look at Krishna Panchami.